Hello and welcome back to the Aligned Podcast, a place where we have open and honest conversations about personal development, business and life mastery. I hope you are doing well today. Thank you for joining us. Tom, how's things?
Things are great, mate.
Good.
How are you? You got a big smile on your face.
I'm good, mate. I feel great. Yeah, I'm doing this challenge. Thank you to the people who have joined us. I will leave the link below if anybody else wants to join. It's a 30-day challenge. And I'm feeling good, mate. I'm on day 5 or 6 and everything's going beautifully.
That's awesome, dude. It's really funny. I was talking to my coach just now and talking to Sarah this morning about achievement and getting to somewhere where you want to get to. And it's great to focus on the end goal. He said, create a goal, then create the plan.
Yeah.
Let the goal go.
Yeah.
And just take the next step.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like we have this, we beat ourselves up so much about having this goal of, I want a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
But then we just keep looking at the goal and never actually create a plan and take the next step. Like I was saying to you, I'm on plan at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but every day I wake up, like just before I came in here, I just scooped peanut butter out of a tub, ate a banana and carried on. Like I'm just on the plan. I'm not even thinking about when I'm having food or what I'm having. It's just everything is set and it's good to go.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, like you said, a friend you knew, you'll get the results that you want.
Yeah. It's nice because I don't actually have a goal for this. I just have a plan.
Well, that's similar to the previous episode that people are going to listen to on standards.
Yeah.
Like if you have standards, you only will progress forward.
Yeah.
You'll only get better.
Yeah. So I've not got a goal weight or body fat percentage or
just want to get better.
Really. Just continuous growth in
Which
all
is
areas.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
What are we going to talk about today?
Time management, something I need to learn. It's so funny. I messaged you yesterday. This morning, wasn't it? Early this morning. Let's talk about time management today. And then I'm 15 minutes late for the recording. So some lessons in that, and it'd be nice to impart some of those to people today. But time management is the reason this came up really is like I was talking to a couple of people recently, and they always say I don't have time to do that. And I just think to myself, I think you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really think you do have time to do it. It's just how are you managing your time? How are you choosing to use your time? I think the choice of time becomes an excuse for a lot of people. I choose to spend my time with my family. I choose to spend my time doing this. But you've always got this nagging guilt that you're not actually doing something else. And therefore you're not managing your time right. And I think if we get into some of the nitty gritty of it, you can really make time work for you better. But I remember years ago, while I was at university, my first year at university, I came up with a saying, and I've said it to myself ever since, that anyone can learn anything so long as they learn to manage time. Anyone can learn anything they want so long as they learn to manage time.
Yeah.
And I think if you can master time and manage time, everything else you want is achievable.
Yeah. And it's the same thing that we always say, it's priorities. It's where you prioritize, because everybody's got the same amount of time. So if somebody's done that, there are people who are ultra successful and have a great family life and look after themselves and take time to grow their mind and all that stuff. So if they can do it, everyone can do it. It's
true. And it was funny because I was actually having this conversation with my coach this morning, this dichotomy of time. And if I'm honest with people, he talked about the grey time that people have, the grey zone. I have this perpetual guilt. If I'm with the family, then I'm not working. And if I'm working, I'm not with the family. And you end up in the grey zone. The grey zone is not a very productive place to be.
No.
Because you're not focused on what's going on.
Yeah.
So when it comes to time, it's not about the quantity, because that's actually irrelevant. We all have the same quantity of time. It's the quality of time and the productivity of your time that you need to get right. So if I'm saying I'm with my family and I'm solely committed to being with them at that time and enjoying the quality moment that I have, then I have used that time well. The same is true if I'm at work and I'm worrying about not being with the family, then I'm not creating the future, the progression that I want. So when I'm there, it's intense and it's focused and it's working.
Yeah. And how many people do you think actually do that?
Fuck all.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah,
like literally nobody.
I agree.
Whenever someone says no time
on
to
their
me,
phone while they're with the family, or they're always watching telly while they're with the kids or something like that. And
it's so funny. Like Andy Frisella, I was listening to his podcast. He was being interviewed for 75 Hard. Have you heard that one?
No.
Emily interviews him about 75 Hard.
Oh, okay.
It's quite good. But he just says, I don't have a tolerance to be around people who aren't achieving.
Mm.
And I'm losing that over the years. I'm actually really losing that.
Yeah.
Because when someone says, I don't have time, it creates a visceral response in me.
Mm.
Like, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I struggle with that as well. But sometimes I have to like make myself remember that not everybody thinks like we do.
Yeah.
Not that that's an excuse for anyone. And if you're listening to this podcast, you do think like we do. Likely you are striving for something and going for goals and trying to be better. So time management is massively important. What do you think about that? About not everybody wanting to strive? Do you think people do?
I think everyone wants to be better.
I do.
I really do.
Yeah.
And people listening to this will have varying opinions, and they do message us about this. And I'd love to hear your comments. Like, get in the comments on the podcast and the YouTube, and let us know what you think. Like, are we talking shit here, or is it fine? But I think everybody wants to be better.
I think so.
Everybody wants to be better. It's that saying I've said before: comfort comes as a guest, it lingers as a host, and it stays to enslave us. We get comfortable.
So you
Things
think
are
that's
okay.
an excuse? And people say that, oh, well, I'm happy with the way I am.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Like I was writing a talk. I'm off to the States next week to deliver a talk. And I'm talking about certainty in chiropractic, which a lot of chiropractors have. And then like, well, if you've got certainty in chiropractic, why is your practice not where it should be? And I think it's down to certainty in self. And the question I'm going to ask them all, and I'm really intrigued to see, I think there's about 600 in the audience at this event. When was the last time you looked at the mirror and you were actually proud? Like, I reckon I might get one or two, honestly, answer that and say yes.
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then are you really happy?
It's so for me, just when you said that to me, I thought I had mixed feelings because I am proud of what I've done, but I still look in the mirror and think I've got so much to go. Like I've got so much more to do. So yeah, that's quite a tricky question.
It is a tricky question, but it's important to recognize progression. It's important to see that and go, yeah, I've done that. But you said something to your audience earlier. They're saying, are you a little bit better today than you were yesterday?
Yeah.
That's progression.
Yeah.
That's pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, we all can be better. But we can only feel happy if we're getting better each day. And that betterness might not be like betterness for physique. It might be that I've actually chucked my phone out the living room and spent quality time with my family. Yeah. So I think it's a great conversation we just had organically there, but let's get back on track with time management. Time management, yes, we all have 24 hours in a day. And the most basic way of improving time management would be to get up earlier and go to bed later. Very short-lived, because you will just burn out. I've been there, I've done that. I get up early, but I don't stay up very late at all. So the hours that I have may be the same as somebody else who gets up at 7, but they go to bed at 11.
Yeah, like it's what happens in those hours.
It is. It's how you're using the time in the hours. And there's a couple of things that I choose to do to really improve that for myself. The first is to really know what it is you're trying to achieve. Like, how can you be productive and use your time well unless you know how you're using your time? So making sure that you have a list of tasks that are moving you forwards, not just this endless to-do list. So if you've got some structure in, if I do this today, it will progress me forward, it will move me well, then you're managing the time well to create what you want. Yeah. The other one that comes within that, when we set ourselves a task, we never put time limits on it, which is super important. We're like, oh, well, I'm going to do this today. I'm like, when are you going to do that today? Oh, I'm going to do it then. And then what comes with that is, what do we all default to? An hour. I'll do this for an hour. Yeah. I'm like, what if you could get that done in 10 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. It's like meetings in corporate businesses.
So true.
They take so fucking long.
Dude, I used to sit on a board, and some of the board probably listen to this. The majority of the board are Australians. Australians love to talk for the sake of talking. I'm like, oh my God, can we not just get this point done? But I would take that hour that people generically use and split it into at least 15-minute blocks.
Yeah.
And then within that, build buffers.
Yes.
So I failed to put a buffer in today because I put a phone call at 9 till 10, which I knew I had to get to your car park here to do 9 till 10, 10 o'clock recording. I didn't put a buffer in. What happened? I was speaking to a guy who used to live in Australia. So what happened? He talked and we overran.
Yeah.
And I'm late.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put buffers in between your meetings and between your schedules, then you do allow yourself a little bit of overrun, or you allow yourself time to go and have that pee, grab that coffee, and then do productive work beyond that.
So one thing that I've done recently is I got one of those digital timers with a dial.
Yeah.
And my monitor is, I have a high monitor so that my neck's not.
Good man. I like that.
And on the stand that I've bought, so I actually had to buy a new stand for it because the stand it came with, the top of the monitor was like this high.
Oh, they're rubbish, aren't they?
And I was like, that's no good. So I ripped that off and put this other stand on, and it's like puts the top of it about there. So I'm actually sat like that, and it comes down and it's got a little pad there. So I got some double-sided tape, stuck this dial on there. And then whenever I start a task, I think, oh, how long is this going to take me? Roughly 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I wind it to 30 minutes and just hit go. And then I start working and I can see it counting down in front of me, and it keeps me so focused on a task because you just see it counting down and it gets to like 17 and you're like, shit, 17 minutes. Boom, 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 and you just go.
You get it done. What you're really good about, what you've really good there, the other thing that you've inadvertently done is you've not set the timer on your phone.
Yeah, so my phone's on Do Not Disturb because so many times I used to have a phone stand and have my phone there with the screen pointing at me, and it would go off, and now it's like.
And like the episode we've done before, you goes off, you read the text, and what do you do? Quick look at Facebook, quick look at social. It doesn't help.
But not even if you don't do that. Say if you're focused on work and you're like writing or editing or whatever it is that you do, you get into a flow state, and then something takes your concentration off it, and you don't go, oh, a message, straight back into where you were. No. You go, oh, a message, and then you're like starting again.
Yeah. And
then it takes you another 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get back into that state where you were in flow.
So true. It's so true. So, and that's the other point there is removing all the distraction that is available to you.
Yeah.
So I used to have a desk for looking out the window.
Yeah.
And
so did I here.
Yeah, I know. I've got the window there, and the bin went past earlier, and I said that.
Yeah.
And in my office, the window looks out over the neighbour's house, which is a fantastic manor house. I just look at it, I'm like, "You getting your Ferrari out later?" And then my mind just goes.
Yeah.
So now it faces the blank wall.
And jets flying past.
Yeah, the private jets come over at exactly the same time every week. It's amazing, but it's not good for productivity. So I face the wall now. Yeah. And I'm focused in on that.
Mm-hmm. It's so exactly important. The same in here. I had my desk here. Where's my desk now?
In the corner.
In a little den.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, a friend actually, and he said, oh no, you need to be able to see out the window so that you can have some natural light and see what's going on. And I see what he means. But for me, especially with my brain, because it's so scattered with the ADHD and stuff, it's better for me to be in a dark hole with the only thing that I can see is the thing like blinkers on, basically.
Well, it's exactly that, and call bullshit on what your friend said there, because it's that pulls you into the realm of this sort of multitasking when it's in fact monotasking. So you should have the window there so you can get some daylight and look out. Okay, that's cool, but what if I was to be super focused, get my work done in the half-hour time that I've set,
and then go for
and then go stand outside?
Yeah.
It
is monotasking and it is focus. One issue I have with time management that I've realized recently is, and it's not an issue, but we'll talk about it. So there's a saying by one of the classics. I think it might be Jim Rohn, or I always quote Jim Rohn, but
it sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's work as hard on yourself as you do on your career, or harder on yourself as you do on your career. And I find that I can easily spend a lot of time in the morning on personal development. So I can, like, my morning routine sometimes can be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I end up like, and I'm training and I'm meditating and I'm reading and I'm grounding and I'm doing all these things. But before I know it, it's like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. and I wanted to start working at say 7, and I'm like just doing all these bits, and I struggle internally with that because I'm not sticking to the exact thing that I wanted to do, but I'm working on myself and progressing myself forward. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I think I've been through that journey, and I've realized that it's super unproductive. My most productive time is the morning, and I set my day up so that I am doing the right thing at the right times. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, I could come and record this podcast at 9 o'clock at night, and I'd have the energy to go for it because I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I could do a coaching call for a client in the afternoon because it builds energy in me when I do it. Mm. The productive work that I need to do in terms of writing content or sending emails or prepping for events or talks, I have to do that first thing in the morning. And if I don't, it gets lost. Yeah. So for instance, my morning routine has developed over the years where it was a long one. Mm-hmm. Now it's much, much shorter. But I have to get working early. And I think some people do fall into the trap. You're more disciplined than a lot of people. So you will, once you finish that morning routine, go and do the work.
Oh yeah, I always do.
But there are some people who aren't self-employed who will do their full morning routine, go to the office, and then be like, I haven't got time to do any work now. So I think thinking what part of that routine that's making you better, what part of the personal development needs to be done in the morning. So as we've spoken about before, it catches that alpha and theta brainwave states, resets the body, really changes the mind. And what can be left to later. So I am of the ilk that, yes, you still need to do that first thing. Like as soon as my eyes wake up, there's a prayer. As soon as I get up and move around, I go and write my affirming statements, which takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do. I stand outside and ground, and then I get on with it. And that's just, but that's evolved, and it's always evolving.
Yeah, like mine is. And sometimes I do that, and sometimes I jump straight into work. I think it, like we said previously, it depends what sort of season you're in, and it depends where you are.
It is. What I would say is I never jump straight into work.
Right.
I've always got to do something. And whatever work I'm jumping into is my work. I never jump into emails. I never jump into my inbox. I never jump into doing something for somebody else. I always jump into doing something that's going to move me forwards.
Proactive.
And then catch up later.
Yeah. Nice. A lot of people struggle to go to bed early, don't they?
Massively. And I don't get it.
I've been speaking to, it's come up quite a lot recently, and people have said, well, what time do you get up? And I say 5. And they're like, oh my God. And
it's
like,
FOMO, dude.
What time do you go to bed? I'm like, 9. And they're like, oh my God. How? And they're like, can't seem to go to. Yeah, it is FOMO. Yeah,
I just don't compute what they're doing. Like yesterday, I saw the most patients in a day that I have seen in a long time. And dude, I feel the 5 years older I am than I was when I was doing that one. I feel it. And I got home at 8. I was in bed at 7:30.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the evening? Most of these people who say that finish work at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Watch telly. Telly.
Like, what the fuck?
I can't remember. The average person is like 3 to 5 hours of TV a night, is it? Or maybe even more.
Wow.
Like that's
that's a month's worth of TV for me, probably.
The most I will watch is one episode of something.
Yeah.
And Laura loves, we do watch telly. Like Laura loves films and series, and her more than me, to be honest. But I will watch one episode.
Yeah. I love a good film, dude, but I just time. Time is my most precious thing.
And it's definitely not every day.
No, and so many times I'll sit down and start a film and I'm like, this is not how I want to use my time right now. I thought it was, but as soon as I put it on, I'm like, no, it's not.
But not everybody, there's very few people who think like that, you know.
No, I know there are, but but it comes to deep down, like,
what do
you want? And when you look in the mirror, are you proud?
Yeah.
And if you say you haven't got time, but you want to be better than you are, you want to be further along than you are, you want more money than you've got, you want to serve more people, you want to have a better life, better relationship, choose how you manage your time.
Yeah, and just to clarify, when Tom says that, he doesn't mean physically when you look at your body in the mirror, are you proud? He means, I think, when you look at yourself and what you're doing and who you are and where you are you proud?
And I struggle to say yes to that, like you.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I've referenced this before, just before my 30th birthday, I remember sitting down at a desk and going, I am a third of the way through my life. What the hell have I got to show for it?
Yeah.
But if someone else was to look at my life, they'd be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like you're a chiropractor, you take home, like at the time I think I was as associate taking like 10, 12 grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there is that dichotomy, but are you proud of, are you proud of the journey that you're on?
Yes.
Are you proud of the effort that you're putting into
Yeah.
everything? Are you proud of the effort that you're putting into your family and your child? Are you proud of the effort that you're putting into your work? Are you proud of the effort you're putting into your body? Like, are you proud of that?
And to dial that down, are you proud of what you did that day?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you look in the mirror, I'm doing an evening meditation at the minute. I'm meditating. This is one thing. I'm meditating for like 75 minutes a day at the minute. And I know to you, that's like, what the hell?
That's insane. That's fair play to you, dude.
But it's just where I am on my journey.
That's cool.
It's just where I am. And the evening one is like, it's like a recap on your day. And it's where it's a Joe Dispenza one. And it's, where were you conscious today? Like, where did you consciously make the decisions to not think the repetitive thoughts that you constantly think with your body today? So if you wanted to reach for some bad food and you didn't, or you had self-doubt, or you felt it coming in and you stopped it, and you managed to stay positive and keep that self-belief and believe in yourself. And then it reminds you of that, and you sort of recap on the day, and it's really good.
I think a recap on the day is one of the most important things people can do. It's what I do before I go to bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do an episode on faith and spirituality coming up.
Yep.
But one of the things that's important, especially with your faith, a lot of people pray for what they want, or spirituality, or try and think and manifest the things they want, but they never pray for the things they're grateful for.
Yeah.
Or recognize what has come to them and they have achieved. And that's how my days are bookended. Yeah. So the first thing is I wake up and say, today's going to be a great day. Thank you, God, for all the opportunities you're going to bring me in my day today to help and serve people. And it goes off on that tangent. In the evening, just before I go to sleep, thank you, Lord, for giving me the opportunities today. Thank you for allowing me time with my wife and my family and bringing these people into my life. So those bookends are super important to the day. And that thinking about the day will only help you manage the time.
Yeah, because you can think, where could I have performed better? Where could I have tightened things up? Where could I have made more from that hour with 4 15-minute blocks or something? It's funny because, I won't go into this too long. Yeah, we're good. I never actually pray and speak to like God or the universe, and I want to talk about God in the next episode. But this morning I did, and when you said that, I was thinking, I did, yeah. And I wanted to, when you was talking about that, I thought, well, what did I say? And automatically and immediately, it was all thanks.
Amazing.
It wasn't like, give me this or give me that.
Yeah.
It was just thanks, like thanks for my family, thanks for everything.
Which is a really cool way to start, because most people start
with asking.
Yeah. And my journey started by falling to my knees because I was in such a bad place.
Yeah. But I've meditated for 10 years, and although I don't pray to God, I haven't been praying to God, I have been speaking to the universe. And believe me, I've asked for plenty.
I love it, and it's coming.
Yeah. I've asked for plenty.
I think some. I don't know if you got any other points, but there's some points I'd just like to finish on maybe that really would drive this point home. We all say we don't have time. Yet we spend we waste our time doing things that aren't necessarily productive. And we're not just talking about management here for your business. No. We're talking about for how you're living your life. I think I said this on a previous show, but the average number of years that you have with your children is 19. That's 18 while they're at home, and a total of 1 year after they leave home. You talk about your parents being around, and this one really hit me. Like, my mum's 73, and let's say she's got 7 years left. Let's say, I hope God willing more. I might see her twice a year. I'm going to see my mum 14 more times.
That's crazy.
It's insane. 7 years versus 14 times. And then we all have an average of 30,000 days on this planet. Now you times your age by 365 and take that away from 30,000. That's all you've got left.
Not that much.
So if you think about these few things and think, well, this is all I have
Mm.
to give all I've got to who I love and what I want to achieve, then why am I wasting time?
Yeah.
And I think if we can really own that and we can really say, this is where I'm going, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to spend time with, and commit to that being quality versus quantity time, then you've mastered the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super lucky. I see my mum all the time.
You are lucky.
But we live close and we walk dogs together and
Nice, man.
yeah, it's cool. But yeah, that's a really good point because it's so easy to think, oh, I've got time. I'm only 37. I've got loads of time, but you don't like it. You don't. And productive years is even less.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those years you were young, and then for some of them you're going to be really old, hopefully. Which you can still be productive, but yeah, you know what
and I'd rather get to my grave worn out than
fresh as a daisy.
Fresh as daisy.
Right. Thank you so much for listening and joining us on today's podcast. If you got something from this, please share it with a friend and post it on your story. Tag us in it. I'm at Abandon Average. Tom is at Dr. Tom Waller. Any questions or comments, leave them in the YouTube below. And please subscribe on YouTube. It means the world to us. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day and stay aligned.